Perfectionism doesn't protect you from pain. It keeps you stuck in it. It doesn't prevent failure. It prevents momentum. And it doesn't build peace. It builds pressure. Welcome to Soul Time, a show that explores the world of unlocking your unique potential. My name is Dr. Katja Makowka, and I'm a teacher at school, a former teacher at universities, and a stress and mental coach. And I'm your host. Let's start by getting clear on what perfectionism actually is. It's easy to confuse it with ambition or commitment. It's easy to praise it and normalize it, even wear it like a badge of honor. But when we look a little closer, perfectionism isn't about carrying deeply or working hard. It's about fear. Quiet, hidden, sometimes overwhelming fear. And perfectionism is a coping mechanism. It's the mind's attempt to create safety in a world that feels unpredictable or unsafe. It sounds like, if I get it perfect, maybe they won't criticize me. Or if I don't mess up, I won't have to feel like a failure. Or if I do everything flawlessly, maybe I will finally feel like I'm enough. But here is the truth that can be hard to swallow. Perfectionism doesn't protect you. It traps you. It keeps you overthinking every move, afraid to start unless it's guaranteed to succeed. And the cruel twist, it blocks the very freedom and growth you are working so hard to earn. You stay stuck in pressure and second guessing. Even if on the outside you look like you have got it all together, because perfectionism isn't rooted in growth, it's rooted in fear. So let's pause here and ask the deeper question most people skip. Where does this pressure to be perfect actually come from? Because it's not just about high standards. It often traces back to something tender, something personal. Sometimes it's fear of failure, not just messing up, but what we believe that failure means about us. And that we are not good enough, not worthy, that we will lose something important. And other times, it's fear of disappointing people, of not earning approval, love, or safety. And a lot of the time, it comes from earlier experiences, moments that taught us directly or not that being perfect is being safe. Maybe you were only praised when you succeeded. Maybe mistakes were met with silence or punishment. Maybe you had to be the strong one, the good one, the one who held it all together. So now, as an adult, that pressure still lives in your nervous system. Not because you are flawed, but because your body learned to survive that way. Let this be your reminder. You are not broken. You never were. And perfectionism is not weakness. It's a shield, a very intelligent, very exhausting strategy your mind once used to protect you. But now you get to lay it down. Perfectionism isn't always loud. It doesn't always show up as obsessing over planners or pixel perfect projects. Sometimes it hides in the quiet corners. It can look like overthinking every little detail, replaying what you said over and over again. It can look like procrastination, not from laziness, but because if it can't be perfect, why start at all? It can look like constantly editing yourself, worried you will be misunderstood, or trying to control how others see you, curating every word, every move, every smile, just to stay safe. Perfectionism doesn't always say, I want this flawless. Sometimes it whispers, I don't feel safe unless it is. So if you have been stuck in spirals of overthinking, avoidance, or hyper awareness, gently ask yourself, where am I using perfect to protect myself? And what would shift if I gave myself permission to be human here? Because peace doesn't come from perfection. It comes from permission. However, perfectionism doesn't protect you from pain. It keeps you stuck in it. It doesn't prevent failure. It prevents momentum. And it doesn't build peace. It builds pressure. And the cost is high. Sometimes burnout, anxiety, disconnecting from your own joy. You start walking on eggshells in your own life, afraid to be seen, afraid to be real, afraid to simply be human. But you weren't made to be flawless. You were made to be free. And freedom begins when you stop controlling every outcome and start building self-trust. When you stop equating mistakes with shame and start seeing them as a part of becoming. Real safety doesn't come from getting everything right. It comes from knowing you will be okay, even when things go wrong. And there is a big difference between healthy striving and perfectionism. One is rooted in purpose, the other in fear. Healthy striving says, I want to grow, I care about this, I want to show up fully. And perfectionism whispers, if I mess this up, I'm not good enough. If I'm not flawless, I will lose everything. So much of the stress we carry comes from standards we never questioned. So instead of asking, how can I do more? Try asking, is this standard honoring me or just protecting an old fear? That one question, it can change everything. When you start moving from self-trust, not fear, you create space to take imperfect action steps, to show up before you have it all figured out, to live more honestly and breathe more deeply. And here are a few gentle ways to root yourself in that. Take one small risk each day that feels meaningful, even if it's scary. Speak to yourself with the same belief and kindness you offer others. Journal on this. What's my real why? Not the one I think I should have, but the one that actually feels true. Because your worth, it doesn't live in how polished your outcomes are. It lives in your intention, your heart, and your presence. And when you shift from proving to trusting, life doesn't just look different. It feels different. And healing from perfectionism doesn't mean you stop caring or striving. It means you stop tying your worth to the result. It's not about doing less. It's about doing it with more breath, more grace, more freedom, more joy. It's allowing yourself to show up even when it's messy, to be seen even when you are still figuring it out, to speak when your voice shakes. And it's saying, I'm not perfect and I'm still enough. Because what we were chasing through perfection wasn't flawlessness. It was love, safety, and belonging. And the good news, you get to build those things from the inside out now. You get to rest without guilt. You get to try without fear and to live without constantly needing to prove. And that's what healing looks like. And you are allowed to choose it, starting now. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Soul Time. I'm very grateful because you have given me the greatest treasure of your life, your time. If you enjoyed this episode, click the subscribe button so that you get a notification every time a new episode is out.